Digital transformation, it has to be multidisciplinary, hence transformation. It has to affect multiple organizational stakeholders, obviously, and therefore it gives a bit more complexity to the case. But that's why its value proposition, it's a gold standard. Everyone is pursuing it because what it promises is just so good and so relevant in this day and age of disruptive customers, disruptive financial innovation. In terms of digital transformation, we have seen a very large historical skew towards supporting retail banking and towards supporting digital channels. This is not very surprising because it's quite easy to justify the business cases for retail banking product development, for innovating, for going mobile, really, because there's so many precedents being set in the past. But now the question is, moving forward from 2016, what is next? Banks are sitting on this whole wealth of propositions that they've already cultivated over the years for retail banking. How do you optimize the customer experience? And all these comes from really getting data to talk with data, getting different lines of business, obviously, to talk with different lines of business to create new value for the customer, for the business stakeholders. Come 2016, this would take the form of perhaps increased spending into technologies that go into shared services, into collaboration. This comes in the form of not just solutions, of course. It comes in the form of creating new disciplines, new strategies, getting the right people into the right places in the organization. Effectively being the key term here. They certainly have dabbled in the past. We have seen players pushing into traditional FSI players, pushing into the social medium as early as 2010 from India, from Australia, more recently led out of Malaysia and Singapore. But it has always been, in my personal opinion, a very superficial layer to what is essentially a really simplistic banking proposition. In a practical sense, the customer can tell that this bank is trying to pretend to be Facebook, is trying to pretend to be WeChat or WhatsApp, which is really jarring. Going back onto what I spoke a bit about experience, right? You really need a cohesive experience. Take Alipay in contrast. I remember going to China and my colleagues there, they were just so eager to show me, like, look, let me make a payment to you. Let me show you what this app can do. Paying itself is an experience for them. One of our conference speakers mentioned that nobody wakes up to make a payment, but really with enough marketing, with enough repositioning, with enough interaction with the consumer mindset, maybe you can wake up to really just want to pay because the payment experience is just so engaging in a way. That's a bit far into the future, of course. But you look at the success stories now, it's not really FSIs. On your original question, are FSIs effectively embarking on a social media, social banking type of transformation? No, not FSIs. But it's the non-FSI players that are disrupting the market. Alibaba, the earlier example, right? Simply because they own the whole ecosystem. They have a downstream proposition through their retail reach, but they've layered it with a sort of a tangential banking or financial proposition or payments proposition. So it's a retailer pretending to be a bank, and as a consumer, you that sort of makes sense. It's really easy. It's just they're doing it to make my interactions easier for retail, because the real value I'm looking for is not moving money from point A to point B. It's getting something, whether is it furniture or whatever goods that I can consume. In our FIA, we have awarded the Best Bank Award based on how they embarked on not transformative projects but transformative journeys. And banks that actually demonstrate the ability to discern between these two are the ones that we see as of a different caliber compared to their peers. In the past, we have awarded CRMB and OCBC simply because how they innovate products, how they innovate features, and how they change the value that they deliver to consumers. How that has evolved from 2010 to 2015. It has changed so dramatically. And it's not fragmenting, it's getting more cohesive. On making experiences count, I think that's the theme if you want to transform digitally. When I interact with a bank, I want to know that the bank recognizes this transaction as coming from me, and it will play in the long run in our relationship. I am in every interaction, every transaction I make, I am investing into the bank.